Hey, my above average crew, and I, during quarantine session, just finished the series of Self-Made, the story of Madam C.J. Walker. And, this is probably going to be multiple series or sessions, but I really want to talk about Addie Monroe, who was based off of the real character Annie Minerva Turnbo Malone. So she's an unsung hero. Before watching this, I didn't know that there was another black woman that had a successful, thriving hair care business in the same time as Madam CJ Walker. She has been definitely like an unsung hero. She is not getting her due just at all. I think a lot of that comes to the point that she didn't have any children. And I feel like her heirs, her relatives are definitely not doing their due diligence to propel her, because although she may or may not have been the quote-unquote first millionaire, self-made millionaire, she definitely was a millionaire in her own right. And I'm reading that by 1914 she had 20. And by 1920, she was a multimillionaire. I'm reading that she had an upwards of $14 million for her businesses. So who is this lady? I'm going to just probably read her biography, but first of all, she is where Madam C.J. Walker got her beginning. She actually was a salesperson for Annie Malone. So in the Netflix series, it's showing that she didn't want her to work for her and refused, and that's not the case. She actually was a saleswoman for Annie Malone, and that is how she got her start. That is how she got her ideas. That's how she got her training, everything. So in real life, Annie Malone is looked at as her mentor. That just kind of blew me. And then someone that is from, Chicago, I've never heard of her, and she actually lived here. So it's just blown away. But I'm just going to read what I am seeing online. So it says that she was born August 9th, 1869, and she died May 10th, 1957. And she was one of the first African-American women to become a millionaire. In the first 3 decades of the 20th century, she founded and developed a large and prominent commercial and educational enterprise centered on cosmetics for African American women. So first, she was born in Southern Illinois, and she was the daughter of enslaved people. She was the daughter of enslaved Africans, Robert and Isabella Turnbo Malone. When her father went off to fight for the Union with the 1st Kentucky Cavalry in the Civil War, Isabella took the couple's children and escaped from Kentucky, which was a neutral border state that maintained slavery. After traveling down the Ohio River, she found refuge in Metropolis, Illinois. There, Annie Turnbo was later born, and she was the 10th of 11 children. Annie Turnbo was born on a farm near Metropolis in Massac County, Illinois. Orphaned at a young age, she attended a public school in Metropolis before moving in 1896 to live with her older sister, Ada Moody, in Peoria. There, Annie attended high school, taking particular interest in chemistry. However, due to frequent illnesses, Annie was forced to withdraw from classes. While out of school, Annie grew so fascinated with hair and hair care that she often practiced hairdressing with her sisters. With expertise in both chemistry and hair care, Turnbo began to develop her own hair care products. At that time, many women used goose fat, heavy oils, soap, or bacon grease to straighten their curls, and that actually damaged both their scalp and their hair. So let's talk about her personal life. So by the beginning of the 1900s, Turnbo had moved with her older siblings to Lovejoy, which is now Brooklyn, Illinois. While experimenting with hair and different hair care products, she developed and manufactured her own line of non-damaging hair straighteners, specials, oils, and hair stimulants products for African American women. She named her new product Wonderful Hair Grower. To promote her new product, Turnbo sold the Wonderful Hair Growers in bottles from door to door. Her products and sales began to revolutionize hair care methods for all African Americans. In 1902, Turnbo moved to the thriving St. Louis area, where she and 3 hired assistants sold her hair care products from door to door. As part of her marketing, she gave away free treatments to attract more customers. In 1902, she married Nelson Pope, and the couple divorced in 1907. On April 28, 1914, Annie Turnbo married Aaron Eugene Malone, a former teacher and religious book salesman. Turnbo Malone, by then worth well over $1 million, built a 5-story multi-purpose facility. Now let's dive into her career. Due to the high demand for products in St. Louis, Turnbo opened her first shop on 2223 Market Street in 1902. She also launched a wide advertising campaign in the Black press, held news conferences, toured many southern states, and recruited many women whom she trained to sell her products. One of her selling agents, Sarah Breedlove Davis, who became known as Madam C.J. Walker, when she set up her own business, operated in Denver, Colorado, until a disagreement led Walker to leave the company. Which is interesting, because, sometimes it comes to the place where you having that issue with your employer or your coworker or whatever it is leads to greatness. She took whatever disagreement they had. It doesn't say what it is, so we can only speculate. Maybe she was like, I'm one of the best salesmen. I want more percentage of the company, or I want partial ownership. Who knows what happens, but she went and left. But again, I think that that's a major key to discuss and show that she basically was operating in Denver, Colorado, and making a living and learning everything about the hair care business under Annie Malone. Miss Walker took the original Poro formula and created her own brand of it. That's key. See, I didn't know that. But Miss Walker took the original Poro formula and created her own brand for it. And that's how she became Madam C.J. Walker, and that's how she became the Millionaire. Isn't that crazy? Interesting though, this is real life. I just think it's so interesting too that this was happening and these women are becoming millionaires and multimillionaires, but at the same time, there's still people getting hung and Jim Crow laws and lynching is still happening. It's wild to me that this is all kind of connected and related. So, like I said again, Madam C.J. Walker took the original Poro formula and created her own brand of it. This development was one of the reasons which led then Turnbo to copyright her products under the name Poro because of what she called fraudulent imitations and to discourage counterfeit versions. Poro was a combination of the married names of Annie Pope and her sister Laura Roberts. So Pope, P-O, and then Roberts, R-O. Miss Annie Minerva Turnbo Malone also created what is known today as the hot pressing comb that we still use. I had that used on me when I was a young child by both my grandmother and my mother. So that is amazing in itself. Due to the growth in her business, in 1910, Turnbo moved to a larger facility on 3100 Pine Street. In addition to a manufacturing plant, it contained facilities for a beauty college, which she named Poro College. The building included a manufacturing plant, a retail store where Poro products were sold, business offices, a 500-seat auditorium, dining and meeting rooms. a roof garden, dormitory, gymnasium, bakery, and chapel. It served the African American community as a center for religious and social functions. The college's curriculum addressed the whole student. Students were coached on personal styles for work, on walking, talking, and a style of dress designed to maintain a solid persona. Poro College employed nearly 200 people in St. Louis. Through its school and franchise businesses, the college created jobs for almost 75,000 women in North and South America, Africa, and the Philippines. That's amazing. By the 1920s, Annie Turnbo Malone had become a multimillionaire. In 1924, she paid an income tax of nearly $40,000, reportedly the highest in Missouri. While extremely wealthy, Malone lived modestly, giving thousands of dollars to the local Black YMCA and the Howard University College of Medicine in Washington, D.C. She also donated money to the St. Louis Colored Orphans Home, where she served as a president on the board of directors from 1919 to 1943. With her help, in 1922, the home bought a facility at 2612 Good Avenue, which was renamed Annie Malone Drive in her honor. The orphans' home is still located in the historic Val neighborhood. Upgraded and expanded, the facility was renamed in the entrepreneur's honor as the Annie Malone Children and Family Service Center. As well as funding many programs, Turnbo Malone ensured that her employees, all African American, were paid well and given opportunities for advancement. Her business thrived until 1927, when her husband filed for divorce. Having served as president of the company, he demanded half of the business value, based on his claim that his contributions had been integral to its success. The divorce suit forced Poro College in a court-ordered receivership. With support from her employees and powerful figures such as Mary McLeod Bethune, she negotiated a settlement of $200,000. This affirmed her as the sole owner of Poro College, and the divorce was granted. After the divorce, Turnbo moved most of her business to the Chicago's South Parkway, where she bought an entire city block. Other lawsuits followed. In 1937, during the Great Depression, a former employee filed suit, also claiming credit for Poro's success. To raise money for the settlement, Turnbo Malone sold her St. Louis property. Although much reduced in size, her business continued to thrive. And now let's talk about her death and legacy. Turnbo was named an honorary member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated and was awarded an honorary degree from Howard University. On May 10, 1957, Turnbo suffered a stroke and died at Chicago's Providence Hospital. Childless, she has bequeathed her business and remaining fortune to her nieces and nephews. At the time of her death, her estate was valued at $100,000. So, again, I am amazed at Annie Malone. I am in awe of all that she accomplished. I salute you. It's eye-opening to me. Like, we praise, we praise Madam C.J. Walker, not thinking of the person behind it, right? Yes, she was successful, and I definitely believe that she got more light and credit because she was a socialite. She had a house in New York right next to the Rockefellers. She had elaborate dances and parties and stuff. Like, she was definitely a socialite and on the scene, versus it seems like Annie Malone was living more modestly. And so there you have it. One has a legacy that is like worldwide. Every Black History Month, we're talking about Madam C.J. Walker, but Annie Malone needs her just due. The fact that she was employing people in Africa, in the Philippines, in North America, and in South America in the 1920s, I just got motivated. Like, what am I doing? What are you doing? We have the internet. We have so many things, but this is amazing to me. And it's wild. It's wild that another woman got her start and got her shine, and because she stole a person's exact formula and just rebranded it like themselves. Anyway, I think that if you haven't watched the self-made Madam C.J. Walker story on Netflix, please check it out. Leave your comments below, and then do your research afterwards. Like, yes, this was loosely based on her story, but the character Addie Monroe has been fictionalized as far as a lot of things. Like, one, the fact that she like followed her to a new city, she didn't do that. The fact that they didn't really kind of show that she had money back in the time that Madam C.J. Walker was going into multi-millionaire-dom. That's not true. She was just as wealthy and just as successful in her own right, and was making moves, making pathways, donating. Like, they were both doing well and both wildly successful, period. Now, I'm gonna not even say for the times, but just period, they were. And I think that it is, now that I know better, it's my ability and my due just to make sure that her story gets out and that people come across my page and are now able to research her and learn about her as well. All right, so I'm gonna put in the description box below some website links that I found that have more information about her, so that you guys can do your research as well. And I think this is a great time to discuss and talk to your children or your family about Miss Annie Minerva Turnbo Malone.